weather that you ordered for us. So thank you very much.
Please stand up. Just spread out. Up.
Too much, so you're fine. Reach your toes, pull back just a little bit. Stretch the hip. Good. Then move your big toe, and then your other toes. Think about it. Good. And then all the toes straight down. This is good for your brain. It's very exercise. Right hand. Really good. Really smart as well. stretching to the other side.
standard, right? Extend. Keep the shoulders down. Enter. Turn to the 8. Please think of stepping to your partner's toes. So there was a discussion we had this morning. Is it toe to toe or just to the side? My personal preference is to step off to the side. But if you visit, the teacher may tell you to toe to toe. My personal preference is just a little bit off the side. Keep the extension. As you step, flex the wrist. This takes their heat. Master. Talk about a triangle, circle, and a square. But there's another diagram that sometimes O-sensei uses, and it's something that even the Native American people use. And also, I think I saw it in the Viking house, the other day. It's on one of the shields. It's a circle, right? The shape of a shield, and then a plus sign or a cross that goes through the middle. So it's kind of a symbolic thing. And in Aikido, it has many, many meanings. Obviously, you have the circle, you have the triangle, right? This triangular shape. If you take one wedge, if you connect the 4 corners, it's a square, so it covers all of the triangle, circle, and square idea. But also the idea of the center of the circle is really, I think, important. I think our center is here. It's cool. Our center is right here. But we have to work with our partners. So our center between the two people is somewhere outside of our body. So we have to figure out how to align those two things. As my partner holds here, the center, to define the center of a circle, we have to find the midpoint first. So this is the center, and then we describe the circle. So this point must be stable. I move to this point, now I can move circularly. Vertical line is the spine. So this is the line that we need to kind of pay attention to. All strong movement in Aikido tends to come from this, at least at the beginning. This is lined up. Then straight off. Always straight down. Then back to the center line and so on. So these are all important things to think about. The horizontal line. Even if it's very small and subtle, this is something. So you have both this movement and this movement always in that. And then we have spiral going up. you the first style that I learned. I believe lessons learned this as well. But the confusing part is depending on what Saito Sensei wanted to show, he sometimes did it differently, you know. It's not exactly the same. The words were the same, you know. The ruler wasn't the same as his words, like the words of it. So it's an interesting thing. But we will play with both. So, part of that. So this first method is we'll press our hands like we're doing a push-up on the floor. So this is my it's like a push-up on the floor. The point, the center point is going to be right here for the movement of my arm. So right at this part of the wrist, I'm going to rotate my wrist this way, and I'm going to drop my elbow this way. You notice the body already shifting. This motion will change everything in my partner's body. Then I'm going to pivot around this point with the elbow joint and move my body. Now wake up. So this movement, the idea is to hold this, drop the elbow, drop the shoulder, right? Move around this point, enter in, turn it into raise up. Okay? So if I were to, if I lift, I want to get my body underneath the weight to lift up, right? I mean, this is going to be really hard, or never been something like this weight. So if this is a heavy weight, I want to either bring the weight over my body, over my legs, and then use the legs to push up with the arms, right? It would be just but I think this is very hard. There's a tendency to want to lower the legs, put the weight here, and then push up outside of the power of our heart. So Sensei would say that the circle, your power or your partner's power is within a circle. Outside that circle is fun. So we're going to try to go outside of that circle. So outside of the circle doesn't mean 1 foot, doesn't mean 6 inches. It means just the width of the line that is the circle. So I'm going to ask it again like this. This is the point to think about, not here. And once you so this is the point to think of and then project. So I can say this, step in but not too deeply, align, draw them out. Idea of the circle and the vertical line horizontal, but also the notion of that. So I'm filling out this space. As I step, I'm drawing her to my space here. So now she's stuck. I'm actually holding her. She thinks she's holding me, but I'm holding her. Yeah. Okay, so it's an odd feeling. You're feeling out the space and drawing her to you like they're stuck. Okay? You always want to pay attention to the blade part of the sword. In our case, since we don't have a sword in our hand is the sword. So the blade part of the hand is the little finger side and the downside of the elbow. So the part that we remember really well is the hand blade usually, but the downside of the elbow is the part that we tend to forget. So if we enter, the elbow tends to come up, but that's like entering like this with the hilt of the sword. So sometimes you want to do that, but generally speaking, you want the hilt of the sword down, and you want to project the partner. So same with the arm. The elbow is down and project. So as you do this motion, you're drawing your partner to your arm, you're expanding your arms out. This is the pull. Then that pulls your partner to your arm, and now you take it to the knee. The old-fashioned way of doing this is not so nice, you know. I think Lassa knows this very well, but I want to do it. So, if my partner grabs, so my arms are vertical, my hands are vertical, I change vertical, the old-fashioned way is and then. So, expand your center, jam the arm, but to jam the arm, it has to go from up underneath, and then you draw them out. But this is kind of an easier way. It's already being drawn out, and okay, I can cut it out. So today we'll look at what's called progression. So this is El Sensei said, depending on this is a rough translation, okay? But depending on the circumstances of the attack, depending on the circumstances of your Aikido, you have to be solid as a diamond, flexible as a willow, flowing as water, or invisible as air. So these are the 4 levels, right? And in Japanese, which you're probably more familiar with, is Katai Keiko, Yawarakai Keiko, Nagare Keiko, Kino Nagare Keiko. So oftentimes you'll hear Nagare Keiko and Kino Nagare Keiko blurred together because, you know, in Japanese it's not as defined. They sort of blur the two together and flowing. Sometimes it's invisible between the two. But in fact, the first movements are really important. So we just did what? This is diamond. So the diamond image is a really good image because not so much that it's precious, but it's that the angles are very good. The movement is sharp and clear. So if you look at a diamond, when we're doing 52 cuts, so then the angles have to be precise, otherwise it's not too deep or too shallow, it ruins the value of the stone. So there's a certain amount of precision that we use what you want in the diamond. And so the diamond technique is that there's certain values that you put into it so that you get those values out. Now that's not to say that you forget those values as you go on to the willow, but those values are solid, and those are part of it. So now we'll look at willow. So willow is Yawarakai. The translations that I just did actually Yawarakai is hard. Yawarakai is soft. So all senseis always the same. Right? So hard, soft. Oh. Now you have to combine it. Then you get flowing. Then you get flowing. So sort of define a line, draw a line. Draw a line in the back, and then along that line. Don't change the line. Coming too far. Your hand is here, as soon as they touch, stay on that line. This is a little bit difficult, but it's important to know. This movement is very much like the Kimon, the basic, the Aikido, the Martial Art, but the only difference is that you start to soften the corners of the sharp. As soon as they come out, it's a little bit, not necessarily nicer or easier, but something that's difficult to think about. Single line. Same line. Okay. But not change. Don't change the line. This is just saying. So long line, expand it out at the same time. Okay? The hard form and then the soft form, right? So Katai Keiko, Yawara Keiko, and Shishimai. So we'll look at flowing, a little bit of flowing. We'll go not too long, don't go too hard, but get a sense of the flowing. The flowing movement is different movement. So far we've gone off, if I offer my right hand, we've gone off to the right side. And then step in. Nagari Keiko or flowing Keiko, you're going to step to the left and then off. Or if you offer with the left hand, instead of stepping to the left, you step with the right foot, step off the left. Okay, so it's easier stepping back. So make sure the distance is good. So the proper distance is here. So if you stay back here, so not too close. So normally when you want to start with like this close, this is too difficult. So when you grab, it's like too hard. Here. So don't worry about attempting right now. Yoga is really good. Something to grab. But you don't have to. You can come this way. That is one hand on each side of the wrist. Or stay up here. On top of the wall. Form a fist here. I'll step off to the side. But no gravity. You grab the wrist not moving on. Make a circle, but don't pick a circle. Okay, very light. So it's not a heavy movement. It's not. Remember to draw your partner out. Okay? Part of this movement is not only to keep it light, but to follow the natural anatomy of the person's body. So you notice I'll try and bring the elbow in, flex the elbow, bring the wrist back. Really towards the neck and then back towards the shoulder. So really, if you stay back here at the neck, this is the old application. Somebody can get very badly. So to the neck and then bring it back to the shoulder and then so from here, I'm going to form a circle. I'm going to draw it out a little bit. Draw it out. And from here, circle back this pattern. Okay? So it's a very, you don't have to do it hard. It's very light. stepping in. So the movement is going to be exactly the same. You're going to offer, you're going to attach. Then you're going to offer, attach. So we'll go slowly. So you know sometimes in martial arts the person comes to grab. So this is the same kind of pattern as you grab and make an extension. Okay? If I come in, it doesn't take the balance. So since this is key, her energy theoretically is flowing out her fingertips. So once I'm here, I'm going to draw her out her fingertips for balancing. Let's go. I'm still drawing out her fingertips. Part of it, of course, you know, but just to give you a sense of, oh, okay, if I keep practicing really solid practice, where can it go? So this will give you some sense of, oh yeah, this is lighter. It doesn't always have to be really heavy feeling. The content can feel lighter. So as I was jokingly saying, it's changing lead, you know, I think we're just sort of full of lead and changing it into gold. So suddenly it becomes hopefully a little brighter, a little lighter. So just to review, and you don't have to do this, but we'll do this. I'll do it. So, Katai Keiko, Hey. Yawara Tai Keiko. Nagare Keiko. Nagare Keiko. So you can go many different levels. You need to just adjust to your partner normally, but this is just showing off, so I dictated which level I did, okay? And so, Katate Yori still. So we turn. Hey! Drop down. As you drop down, you'll stand. So this is just a basic koki nage. Hey! Stand, drop. Hey! So there's really an atemi here. Even in Morote Dori Kokyuho, this is an atemi. Don't take the atemi. Don't. I was at a tremendous disadvantage. It's smaller, kind of Japanese size at that time. But I still am Japanese size, you understand? So they're very small. You know, training with Lhasa and Wolf and these guys, they're like huge guys. And, you know, grab their arm, and I thought, am I grabbing their thigh or am I grabbing their arm? So then they grab me, and as their hands go like all the way around and a little bit more, I'm going, oh, geez, this is not fair. So, but the advantage is that I had to learn how to do things without a whole lot of strength on my side or size. So it was a good study. Kind of painful at times, but a good study, you know. And so Saito Sensei always used to love to say to Dennis Tatoyan Sensei, and maybe sometimes to Lhasa and some of the other guys, I really like your training. He says, because you're very, very strong, but you don't use your strength. And then he'd look at me, and then he'd look back to them and say, you know, you guys are doing really well. I'm going, oh, I don't have any strength, so you can't say that to me, you know. So it's a very interesting thing. So. But he always enjoyed watching the very strong guys trying to study the principles of Aikido. So that's what we're trying to do today. So if we're throwing somebody, if my partner's standing in Hanmi here, the way I want to move my partner is to step in close to his hip. And I want my posture and my footwork to mirror my partner's here. So once I mirror it, I can settle my center. Then I take a slightly step in between his feet. Thank you so much. Somewhere in here, right behind him. And I shift from the front leg to the back leg. Now he's not as stable as he just was. Then you rotate and he'll probably fall. Right? So the difficulty that we have, I'm going to turn you around. And the difficulty we have is when we try and throw, is we try and rotate and push at the same time. But your partner can always resist that motion. This is a real difficult thing. But if you just shift and then rotate, once you arrive on the back leg, you're in a much better position. So, as your partner, you want to step in. You want to step in and make sure your feet are close to being parallel to your partner's here. Then occupy that same space. Then rotate. Okay, so he holds. This is difficult now because now you have the arm to deal with, so that's why you extend out. And then. So you have to maintain your center here as you're extending out here. And okay? Say, you know, if you ever go to teach Aikido, meaning I better go teach Aikido, but if you ever teach Aikido, don't say more than 3 corrections at a time to the students. So I always have to remember, 2, okay. I have to hold it down to 2 because 3 is like, he says it's not very good because people get 1 or 2, but then the 3rd or 4th correction is just too much to remember. So the first thing is you want to point your toes in the direction you want to go. So if my lead foot here is pointing straight forward, hopefully my ki and my energy is going in that direction. But be careful if you turn your foot and it goes this direction. Now, there's a little bit of banging together of the ki, so to speak. That's a literal translation of Japanese. You know, you're just banging into each other. So this angle and this angle is not quite doing it. So this angle allows my partner to go through. So when you throw as well, if I want my partner to fall, this foot will now turn out. And then, so that you can throw easily. If you throw here, this puts strain on the knee and the hip joint. So please be careful of that so you don't hurt yourself. Pivot on the heel and throw and point the toe out in that direction. So that's one thing. The second thing is you want to, when you throw your partner in this position, here, you notice my shoulder is in front of her. I will slide my hip joint behind her. As I'm doing it, it's just like Taina Henko here. Here's a heavy weight. Then, so it's like a whole piece of wood or something solid moving through my partner. The shoulder and the ribs don't separate. The shoulder stays down, the hip joint, the hip moves, then the shoulder is pulled. So the hip opens, and then the shoulder moves. Okay. Hip moves, shoulder moves, along with it. Okay? Try that out. So almost, but see the pressure here?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So turn. So it draws the center. So this is Hakai Keiko that we're playing with. Turn, settle, extend, and move. So Hakai means not that you're doing the movement hard, but the movement is clear and solid, and your partner has a solid grasp. So if you want to think of it as anything, your partner is the one that's solid. You're still able to move freely and not have a problem with the movement. So as this time, our partner's a little further away, and as they touch, you move. Okay, so just the touch sets you to this position. Then roll. Easier. Touch. Everything is the same, except the timing. So now the timing is set off by my partner. So slowly. If he comes in slowly, I turn slowly, but it's still the same movement. So touch, he sets off the movement. Throw, you can throw less. Sometimes in Aikido, you want your partner to do some things that you want them to do, right? And you want them to follow up and grab you a certain way and continue the movement that you have. But it's a little deceptive. Aikido is a little deceptive. I think in magic, it's called misdirection. You know, so misdirection means you go look over there, and then something else is happening over here. You know, it's one of those things, and Aikido has that element. So I borrowed this from the kami. So this is the only magic trick I know. So Simone knows this trick. But you've never seen me do it. So this is the fruit, and you grab the fruit, and it disappears. And then obviously the fruit is in this hand. But this is misdirection, right? Like if you first do the trick, you want to make sure you have it, and then you're looking so everybody looks at the hand that's but this is not the way, right? To do the magic trick, you grab it. You point in the direction you want everybody to look. You look in that direction, truly expecting it to be, and it's not there. You look surprised. So this is, a very simple version of misdirection. Very simple thing, and how do we apply it in Aikido, right? So as she comes to grab my wrist, and I start to turn, if I get involved with her wrist, she has strength here. So the misdirection is the power comes from here, and she doesn't know that. But she's always going to grab my wrist because I want her to grab my wrist. This is where her attention should be, but not where my attention should be. So she comes in to grab, she touches, and then you go. All right, try it out. This is now just rhythm and timing. So this is, for some people, very easy, and some people very difficult. So just play with it like you would music. So this is just a simple rhythm. So your partner's going to start off a little further away. So if you're not sure how far, this measurement, you're going to take one step back. So you can just step back. Yes, sir. So this is now the distance, that's basic distance to start. So I offer my wrist to come straight to grab. I turn. So as you start practicing, you'll get closer and closer. This is too close. So it goes like this. You measure. Good. So now I know as soon as he steps, then I begin to move. All right. So that's the rhythm. Kihon, or basic technique, Hakai Keiko, works from the center out. Right. So you begin to make a motion. You move from your center, transfer it to your partner's center, and then you throw them. As you go along the line through flowing technique, it's to draw the person out here that draws the center out. We don't really attack the center as much in flowing movement because the center is already in motion. When the person is static, they have great stability. You need to create instability. You need to create this motion so that it's to your advantage. So for Aikido. So once they're in motion, you don't have to worry as much about the center. You have to worry about the directionality of the movement. So where the hands point, where your lineup is, this is extremely critical. So that you direct your partner where to fall, and that's they fall by themselves. You give them a place to fall, and they will fall. So you don't go quickly. As he comes in, so it doesn't have to be fast. You can move. Really, the thing is timing so that it's in coordination to your partner. Obviously, when you're coming fast, you have to move fast. But for I'll try to do the trick, right? So because he's taller than me, if he stays high, unless I have a ladder, I can't get high. So I have to figure out how to draw him down. So as he steps, I lower the target. Then he comes down. Then I'm able to throw. Okay? Try that out, please. So you can't do the motion in the same way. Sorry. So you can't throw your partner in the same way you did before. So in flowing motion, they're in motion, you draw them to you, right? And direct them where you want to go. So it's like a toy that you can move the person, and once they're in motion, keep them in motion. If you stop, then you're going to have a very heavy person, solid, and it's going to be hard to move them. So make space for them. If they're taller than you, well, even if they're not taller than you, have their center move through, but contain their upper body, and then they'll fall, right? So the body won't move, something like that. And you'll see that happening quite often in Aikido. But that's because you make space so that the center can move through. And you want to turn and make it so that the spiral goes inward so that they don't go flying out and away from you, right? So this is an important thing too. So that their inside shoulder is down and their body moves like this and they move in and through. So we'll do this like 1 more minute, not to belabor the point. We'll go slowly. So this is a chokusetsu, this is a direct entry. There's other entries, right? But this is the direct. And then just take a step back, and then step off to the side, right? So we did shihonage like this. So 1, 2. So comes on this side. 1. Okay, so you're just going to step, keep this hand right in front of you, turn your body, and then all right? You may want to do an atemi just to make sure your partner stays a good distance away because they'll tend to close in on you otherwise. But this motion, and then stepping in, is real. It's still basic. It's not as Iwama style as the chokusetsu, the direct method, but it's an interesting thing to think about. Oh, okay, what else? Is it possible to do it? I think it is possible. So now we'll look at the ki. So we did katai, yawarakai, nagare, and now we look at the ki flow. So the ki flow is a little bit further distance, right? So if we think of katai as being the body, yawarakai being a little bit more of the mind versus the body. The flowing, nagare keiko, is more moving the mind, and so therefore the body follows. Now the ki leads the mind, which leads the body. So this is just a thought, right? So the ki is that invisible thing. It's like intent. I intend to grab that, and so the first thing I do is I look at it, thinking first, I'm going to grab this object. Then I actually physically think about it, then I grab the object, right? So this is the ki goes there first in theory. And that's what we're leading in this instance. So the distance gets further and further. So in this instance, we're going to throw our partner. Please be careful about where your fingers point because this is can be dangerous. So we're still doing the same. So we should probably do this basic measurement. he steps back, and as he comes in to grab, we enter directly. So the trick here is this. So this point, as soon as he gets to this point, I'm going to go across his shoulders here with my arm. Okay, so. Okay, I'm not going to bend the arm. So in this instance, I'm not going to pull in here. Okay, so don't bend it at all. It rotates. Okay, it was always done as a demonstration, and I'm not likely to break tradition. So I'll show it to you, and you can see it, but I don't think we'll practice it because we practiced it in our dojo, and it's sometimes successful, sometimes not so successful. So this is an interesting practice. So this is leading the key. Hey! So the idea is that same distance. Hey! And you approach, really it's to overwhelm them with your whole body and with your ki rather than just a punch. This is what we all see. Hey! But this is really what's happening. The whole body is overwhelmed. So this is the second version of this. Relax the shoulders, relax the elbows, palms up, fingertips up, move your body forward, back, and then. Okay. Looks really good. You want your arms rather heavy here. Fingertips go up to raise your partner's elbow. At this point, rock your body forward, cut over this wrist to set his body for your extension. Then you can enter it easily. So sometimes when you push with both hands, there's no easy rotation point. But this afternoon was some Iri-Minage, different versions of getting there. In fact, what we were doing at the very end, Kokyu-Nage, used to be called Sokomen Iri-Minage. So Sokomen Iri-Minage means an outside Iri-Minage. It has the same characteristics as the inside Iri-Minage when you start. It seems to be. All right, go ahead. はい、Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。お願いします。Step 8. I Idea is something you're all familiar with. So somebody reaches out to shake your hand, right? You both mutually do. See, it's even, right? I reach out, the partner reaches out. So this is very common. That's okay? So this is very common. But if somebody is going to shake your hand, right? She doesn't go like this, holds back, and then this is really odd, don't you think? So to go, yeah, this is not too normal, right? So I only tell you this because when we do Taina Henko, this is what we're doing. Off of the arm, big grab. It's a little strange. I think at the very last minute, as he comes in, I come to meet his grip. It's almost invisible. Okay? But if he grabs, now my balance is off a little bit. But when he comes in, his balance is a little bit off. But the feeling is as if we're shaking hands. Sorry. So just shaking hands, this feeling, but not. Okay, so, yeah. Right? So meet your partner's hand with your arm, the back of your arm. as if you're shaking hands, okay? The idea behind this is to connect to your partner's center, through your center, through the lines, like a conduit from your arm to your partner's arm, through to their center. So if you can do that, you're now connected center to center. Now you can, and therefore their center is. So this is an interesting thing to play with. So we're not just passively waving, we're expanding, connecting, and then moving from there. So this time we'll do a little bit of movement. So this is Yawarakai Keiko. So she comes in, as soon as she touches, hey, I'll move. But it's like a spring. As soon as she touches, hey, the same kind of feeling, but now the timing is up to my partner. All right? Kakai Keiko. Kakai Keiko is the person's palm is fully on your wrist, right? The full connection here. This practice, the fingers are grabbing, but the palm hasn't quite made the connection yet. So you should move at that point. They're really trying to secure that grip, but if you start to move at that point, they'll not quite that good. Then by the time they finish that grip, you have them slightly imbalanced. Okay, so this is just from your end as nage. What does it feel like? This is, I think, an important thing to go on. Okay, what is that feeling? So please play with that a little bit. All right. So this is a second version of the same thing. So now, he's connected solidly here. So this is like Katai Keiko. But now the timing is out of my control. My partner here is going to do a shomen ichi. And then as he comes up, I turn. So the only hurry is that you want to start moving as he comes up before he comes down. That's all, right? So you slowly, please. If you wait, you're going to probably get hit. So don't wait till we get to the top. As he starts to move, you want to start to move, okay? So we'll do a Nagare Keiko. So, offer, and turn and sit. So if you are smaller, and your partner comes in, and I only turn, the balance point gets very weak. So I tend to help put the brakes on my partner by compressing my base. So he's going to be compressed. He stops on the side because of his own side. All right? Like a cat has whiskers, right? Where whiskers that stick out. Sometimes you can see them, sometimes you can't. But it's like if our hands had whiskers that stuck out here, you could feel the whisker touching you at the back of your wrist before the hand actually hits. So you want to move when the whiskers touch. So I don't know how long whiskers are, but it's like, oh, is it this long? Is it this long? But you want to move just before the hand gets to you, and then finish your movement as the hand grabs a hold. So this is it's a timing issue. It's part of it is that idea of one step grab. So you want to understand how far away your partner is and what it takes. So again, the idea is this distance is kind of an important distance. She steps back, you offer, and right there she's got the grip. So therefore, as she comes in, I know I need to breathe just a little bit when I feel the whiskers of her ki or energy. Okay? Is that when you move, you want to move lightly and easily. And when you stop moving, you want to be solid. So the Chinese have a saying in martial arts, when you jump like a feather and land like a stone. So anytime you move, you should be light and easy. When you stop moving, you should be solid as a rock, like a statue. So the Japanese have a saying that fudoshin is immovable mind. And so this is the similar thing. Anytime you stop, you have fudoshin, just really rock solid. And not stubborn, perhaps, but just solid, immovable, meaning unforgetting. That you don't forget your mission. Your mission is to be centered and solid. So this is important. Okay, so we'll look at irimi nage. So in order to introduce this, when we do ikkyo, shomenichi ikkyo, right? Normally, you want to start, the nage initiates the movement. And the important part of this movement is that I'm trying to catch my partner on the upstroke, so I can do this. Right? If my partner is coming on the downstroke, perhaps it's easier to do urawaza. So this upstroke is an important idea. That is, any attack has 2 beats to it. 1 beat, second beat. So if you're thinking of music, it's and, 1. So and is not really counted as a beat, but it really is a beat. It's an in-between beat. So irimi nage, we catch the arm on the and motion, draw them up, and then you set it. This is sankaku. This is a sankaku entry. In other words, I'm going to enter in a triangular fashion. So I'm going to enter out over in this direction rather than right close to my partner. This is very old-fashioned. So I'm going to try and catch him on the upstroke. Even this hand will catch him on the upstroke. Okay? But most of you have a hard time because this is not really the irimi nage that you're used to. This is not drawing your partner out and then throwing him forward. The principles of this irimi nage is the same principle as ganseki otoshi. Do you know ganseki otoshi? And they load him up and then throw him down. So the idea of this irimi nage is to draw your partner backwards and arching in this fashion. So if you can arch them backwards, you can do this. So you can just stand and come to the center of this. So the angle that I want to take. So he's here. His weak point is over here. So in fact, if I grab his collar, what I want to do is do like a back fist here. And not compress him because he's going to get stronger. Remember, moving the arm, if we compress the arm, they become stronger. But I'm going to lengthen his spine and then draw him over. And then he moves. Like this. So, in fact, it seems weird, but if you step too close, the only thing you can do is pull down. So you need a little bit of space. That is the triangular entry here. Then I can enter. Then I can throw. All right, try that out. The feeling of doing this is the true definition of irimi nage, I think. The true definition of irimi nage is to go straight into the center of your partner. If you go through the center of your partner, where do you come out? Right behind them. So I'm trying to get behind her without going through her. So this feeling is I step wide, now I align with this angle, then I can take her off balance. You see that? So here I need to take a line angle, and literally my body's now parallel to hers. Then I attach. Then does that make sense? So here, enter here, and this. Now I usually go 1, 2, 3, 4. Try that out. Remember, we're catching our partner on the upstroke. So as we go up, lead this hand up. Give their mind something to be entertained with, right? Here. But we go like this, and then they're not so entertained. So keep them entertained. And here, attach here. Oh, look up there. Kind of feel. And this is very important though. Up. Okay? This is one of the basic forms that we do in our dojo. So I really think this is a very old form of irimi nage, and it's sometimes forgotten, so I want to resurrect it a little bit. The sankaku, this triangular entry irimi nage, is in our curriculum. We just don't see it very often. The times that you'll see it is when someone's doing ganseki otoshi, and you go, well, how can they do ganseki otoshi? We've never done it. And then I went, of course, this is the basis of ganseki otoshi. Just like many kokyu nages, the basis of the kokyu nages are koshi nage. So you go, oh, well, this is a koshinage. Maybe I don't want to load the person up, so maybe I'll just turn and throw. So that became a koki. It's similar, I think. So this sankaku is just a really, it's a different way of approaching iriminage. It's what it, but like I say, I think it's a very old style of entry. So it's a good thing to learn. And we, in fact, do it in different ways, especially tachibori. You'll do some entries like this in tachibori. So we'll visit that later. Okay. So let's go on. Right. So from shomen uchi, step in. Right. This is basic, right? So we're changing 180 degrees, nothing new, right? I think you all probably do this. One, step in, change your hami, draw your partner to your shoulder, change your hami again. So one more step, please. Ideally, as you step here, you draw them in, you step ever so slightly off angle. You really don't want to step straight forward. So this comes through and you step across, okay? Each hand has a job. So one hand controls the attack, the striking arm, and then the other hand controls the body of your partner. So we'll try and break it down into an exercise, okay? But even in this exercise, you should be able to throw your partner. So the first hand. So if he's striking shomen uchi here, this hand only. Don't use this hand this time, okay? So you come in with koki, draw. So the real trick here is once you make contact with your partner's arm, you keep contact, draw your partner to your shoulder, and then set it. It's hard to do slowly. So it's easier to do it real quickly. But try it slowly, right? Come up the center line, contact, draw, and then always extend both arms. Contact with your partner's arm with your arm. The more surface area that you make contact, the better. So if you make contact with this part, this is good. But isn't there more surface area here? So when you start the movement, this is the point that you make contact with here. And then as you come over, you want to make full contact as much as possible here. Then to draw your partner back into this. So there's other martial arts besides Aikido. I didn't need to do that. But you know, they have butterfly type movements. This is from like an Indian style, like butterfly. But this is a similar exercise. You can play with your own arms and circle your own wrists, right? And that's basically what we're doing. We're circling our partner's wrists. And you go one side and another. This is another martial art. But it's an interesting thing because the principle is the same. You circle the wrist, you make full contact always. And it's kind of a fun exercise, you know, to play with it. It looks weird, but it's an interesting thing. So when you do this exercise, so contact, right? If possible, the back of our wrists are touching, ideally. Then, as I step in, I'm going to start to draw. Then I continue this circle here. Like I'm going to do a shomen uchi. So, up. And you can enter deeper, right? So there's different exercises. This is the wrist. You could do elbow. You could do shoulder. So, but each is slightly different right now. We'll just do the wrist. Because this is an interesting motion, okay? An exercise, think of circling the wrist, sometimes think of circling the elbow, think of circling the shoulder. Each has its own characteristic, but each exercise, you're circling the joint. So for those of you who are instructors, circle the wrist joint, circle the elbow joint, circle the shoulder joint. Did you have a question? I think how many? You know, so this is a good question. So I think everybody is asking more about hitemi and hammi now more than ever before. It's interesting. So this is my understanding. So shizen no kamai. This is a natural stance. this is how most people, if you go, okay, just stand naturally, just stand like this, right? So you hold. This is a full body. That is if the camera is here, full body to the camera. Hanmi means half body. We always think it means triangular stance. I kept going, how could this mean triangular stance? This has nothing to do with the stance. But the stance gives you half a body. So if I'm holding a sword, half of my body is exposed to attack, but this half of the body from here over is covered by the tip of the sword, right? And so on. If you look down from the tip of the sword to this shoulder is covered by the sword, but this half is exposed. So this is some danger, right? I mean, so Hami is, okay, I'll give you this half, but I'll cover this half. So Hami is here. So if you look down the tip of the sword, it covers the right-hand side of my body. Right? So this, it just is common sense. It's like, oh, okay, this foot position versus this foot position, right? Or, as Saito Sensei used to say, kendo, in this position will give you a full body shot, right? It protects the center line, but it doesn't protect either shoulder. Whereas Hanmi now will cover one shoulder. And this is the original thing. Hito Emi, on the other hand, Hito is like one layer, one piece. Emi is the body. So suddenly your body's turned sideways. So suddenly you just see the narrowest cutaway of the body. So you have the minimal amount of targeting. So when you attack, this ski is the main thing. You're in this position, right? Hitoemi is very good for thrust. The Hitoemi from a cut is not so good, I think the best cut is from Hanmi. Even left Hanmi. It's pretty much in this position. But to overturn, it's going to be very difficult to cut this way. But thrust, on the other hand, is very easy to thrust from the Hitoemi position. Does that make sense? So anytime, boom, you're hitting, you're going to make a minimal target. If somebody's attacking you, like a sword cut. So this is that one. Okay. So does that help a little bit? Complex. I'm going to get in trouble no matter how I answer. I think.
I like the explanation though. It's very cool. It's really unique.
So my feeling, like when you do this like an exercise or just most eating minage. I think most time in eating minage you're not probably going to end up at Hanmi. It's going to be very difficult. So if I just here, my feet are going to be parallel. This seems to be a more stable position than here. I feel like I'm going to be pulled off balance. So anytime eating minage, my feet are going to be more in a parallel position, just like doing a joke. It's not really like that. So with that answer, it's not really funny. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. And I might be totally wrong. So. All right, so now we're going to work on the other hand. Since I didn't answer this question anyway, so I didn't answer that. So the first exercise we started in I Hanmi. Now we're going to start in Gyaku Hanmi. So this is so that we have access to the back here. So he's going to strike my head. Hey. I'm going to draw him to my right shoulder. And at this point, I've changed from right Hanmi, facing this way, to left Hanmi. So all you're doing is rotating. So start with this hand, turn, left Hanmi, draw him to my left shoulder, turn my body, and then attach to your partner's collar here. Draw them to your left shoulder. Your elbow will be slightly out. And now what I want you to do, right, so I'll go for it, is drop the muscles back here and drop the shoulder. And what this will do is something like this. So the elbow will be here, and suddenly you get this. So what that does, just stay standing. As you draw your partner here, it pulls your partner not straight down, but up and back. Does that make sense? So it's much like we did the Sankaku Himi Nage. So try the left side forward. Right. So they strike, change your hamni, draw your partner to your right shoulder, and then drop your elbow and bring it to your body. As you enter, you draw your partner to this shoulder, and then turn and drop. So ideally, you turn more than just going one direction and the other. You turn a little bit more than 180 degrees. So 180 would be here, say 185, something like that. You want to turn just a little bit more and they'll fall off on this angle. So now we'll go back to the original technique. Very basic. 1, 2. These two hands have to coordinate. 3. Same, right? Same. This motion with this back hand. Okay? Now we'll add a little bit of motion. So this is kind of like Yawara Kai Keiko. There's a little bit of some motion, but you've made contact, so you can continue that kind of motion. Okay? And this time we're going to turn 180 degrees, and then step in and roll. So this is also a very basic concept. I'm sure you all practice this, but in this context, it's an important thing to build one upon another ideas. So, 8. Up, enter, turn and draw, and so when you do hasolai, right? This hasolai, this is a really important feeling. Irimi nage, kaiten nage, all of these kind of techniques have that same kind of feeling as this hasolaishi. So hasolaishi, the weight is on this leg, you're drawing the jo to this side, and you can pivot. You watch some of the old films of Saito Sensei, he can do 360 degrees. I may follow this up. So at least 180, right? I try and show off 360. Okay, so that idea is very, you're very mobile because you're putting the axis of movement over the ball of your foot, and you can now use the counterweight of the other leg to swing you around. So this irimi nage, you're doing the same thing. You enter, make sure your weight is on the ball of the front foot. Then your shoulder is here. Draw your partner to this shoulder. If they lean, you can easily move. Then you move forward. So this is what it's about. It's here. Put the weight here. Don't keep it mid-weight because you'll fall back. Here, forward, in, and then through. All right? One more minute, please. A few more that we'll play with, okay? Including sokomen irimi nage, which is really what you did already. It's kind of but to put it in your body in a slightly different way, right? The thought that is. So we're still looking at irimi nage. There's several variations. One of the teachers in northern Japan, Shirata Sensei, was like ninth dan, or was ninth dan. He's since passed away. Had a system of teaching everything in groups of 8. And it's a fascinating way to practice Aikido. So his Aikido, he would always show the things that I'm showing you basically. The idea of katai keiko, yawara kai keiko, nagare keiko, and kino nagare keiko. All of his practices had that element to it. So as we did his practice, like Shihonage, you would run through the full range every single time you did Shihonage. If you did Iriminage, you would run through the full range as you did Iriminage and so on. So you would always go from basic to key flow. So very interesting. But always starting at the basic, but then going all the way through. So it's just another system. He and Saito Sensei worked closely together for quite a few years, in the 70s. And then as Saito Sensei got busy, he would stop in and visit with Shirata Sensei, but I don't think they collaborated too much after that. But they used to do seminars together, so it was really fascinating collaboration. So normally we start with Iriminage in Aihami, that is right hand forward, both people. So this time let's start in left hami, so gyaku hami. This is like sort of the saying that the Japanese have, even monkeys fall out of trees, so sometimes you have the wrong foot forward. What are you going to do, right? So as he attacks, just turn. And then this entry is very good for tachidori, the same feeling of tachidori. So I change hami, left hami to right hami in this instance, draw my partner close. In tachidori, we're experimenting with the feeling that I saw Saito Sensei do. I definitely saw O Sensei do. And this seems like an odd thing, but it will help your entry. So when you offer your head to your partner, your body position should be something like this. That is, the soft part when you're a little baby. Well, who remembers? But anyway, there's a soft part when you're a little baby. This is the part you expose to your partner, and they should see that very clearly. Your head is covering your shoulder and everything else. This is the target. So when they strike, just stay. This position will give you a better balance point than being upright. If you're upright, you feel like your head has to move around the strike. If you're here, all you have to do is turn your head. So this is a practice you might want to try. It's an interesting one. So if I offer my head here, I just turn. If I offer my head here, I feel like I have to turn around back. So experiment. See, this feels really uncomfortable at first because your weight is over this leg. The top of your head is exposed. All right, try that out. So we're still monkeys falling out of trees, right? So sometimes techniques work perfectly well, and other times techniques don't work quite as well. So this time the monkey misses the arm a little bit. So we're going back to Aihami. So if he strikes with his left hand, we'd like to be able to meet your partner generously here and then come over the top and into it. But as I say, even monkeys fall out of trees. So if your timing is bad and you won't, it didn't have time now. So your intent is sincere. I'm really going to try and touch his arm. He should feel that I'm going to try and touch his arm. As I go, I realize I'm afraid. So therefore, I got to do it. But this is very important. Anything you hold on. Okay? I now understand why Saito Sensei did some exercises related to it. This is really interesting. So I've never seen it done this way, but I've seen in a different context this application. So I'm going to show it to you right now because the concept maybe seems to be a little difficult. So it's not that you can't get it, it's not what you're used to. So this is what you're used to. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. That's the throw. Right? So I don't care if you actually throw. 1, 2, 3. 4. Sorry. That way your intent on both ends is serious. He's expecting to hit your arm. You're expecting to come through, and then you come again. Same thing, really strong, and then through. Okay? Then before you touch it. Remember the whiskers are somewhere out here before the actual contact, so you want that extension to be out, and as you feel the little whiskers touching your imagination, then start the movement, because wherever those whiskers are, that cat's sure to follow, right? So this is an important thought, that wherever your partner's ki is, their body, their mind will follow. So once you feel that, that's that commitment that goes through it. And it's not a hard thing. It's only an extension, maybe 5 this much in front of the hand or the arm. So you leave this, they'll follow. The person will follow. It's this natural movement, okay? So this next and final one is ki. So this ki is, if you think of your hand as a leaf falling out of a tree, it goes like this, right? And this time you're going to weave your way through your partner's arm. Your partner's arm is here. You're going to weave your way through. So if we can start with just an exercise. So as we expect to touch your partner's arm, he expects to touch your arm. As you do it, you're going to weave your way in. That is, your elbow's going to come over your partner's arm, come through, and in. So this is the basic exercise. Up, over, and through. So you really aren't touching. Yeah? So there's no real physical contact. Come up over your arm, through, and in. Okay? So please try this exercise, right? So this other side. Elbow, up, over, and in. Alright? Try that out. Remember, this is just an exercise right now. So the way it works is that you have to time the stroke of the attack. The stroke of the attack has to come to your head. So however high or low your head is, that's where the attack will come. And therefore, if they start to hit at your head, your elbow goes above the person's elbow and then over and then in. Okay? Does that kind of help a little bit? The other important thing is to take some distance that perhaps you're not used to. So for kino nagare and flowing type techniques, you need a little bit more distance to start. It's as if you're doing it with bokken or jo. If you notice, the ma'ai for jo is pretty far apart, or it should be. And same with bokken. The bokken's a little bit further apart. Taijutsu will right in the person's face. But when you start to do nagare keiko or kino nagare keiko, you should take the same kind of distance as if you're doing bokken and jo. That feeling. It's that same kind of extension. So that's where the kind of VI idea comes in, that, oh wait, this is very similar to this or that or something else. Okay? So please try it. As your partner attacks, right? But remember, as he comes to strike down, this is the time I start to move. I can't start it too soon because he's too tall. Here. So here, and then, okay? But you can't absorb it with your arm, right? So up until now, we've been pretty much around, except for the one previously, we're absorbing it with our arm. Make contact, draw your partner in, and then redirect and throw. So this one, you have to absorb the attack with your body. So as you move, you're absorbing that attack with your body, but still driving forward. So this is a difficult one at best, and you're not really drawing them out here and then coming forward. One of you reminded me of the fact that the previous one of coming up, and then drawing out is really what Saito Sensei said was O Sensei's Yamabiko. So Yamabiko in Japanese just means echo, right? But literally is mountain voice. Yama is mountain, Biko is voice. But it's just an echo. And the idea of an echo type technique is you call the person's ki out, and when they respond, you let it go by. This is an interesting thought, and in fact, that's pretty much what you do throughout Aikido. You call your partner's ki out and intent out, let them attack, and then let it move by. Even though you don't think so in basics, it's happening. That's why when we were playing with Taina Henko earlier, fill out your body as the person grabs. You're now inviting them to come in, and when they do take that, then you take it. So this is a very, I think, important concept, Yamamoto. And in fact, that was Kumiro Sensei's restaurant in Iwama was at one point, yes? The Yamamoto restaurant. So it was like, everything's related to Aikido in this family, you know, so even if it's just a place to eat. So, all right. So we'll look at Sokomen Inagi. So 1, 2. So this is exactly Kokinage. This old-fashioned Sokomen. So come up, come down, attach to the wrist, draw your partner. Irinage, which I'm sorry I forgot to mention, but it just struck me right now. You want to have your partner's shoulder blade right against your body. So this is a very interesting idea. That is, if we're doing Irinage and our partner is here and his shoulder is here, it's going to be very difficult to throw them. But his shoulder blade is here. If his shoulder blade is against our body, then it's very easy to move and then throw. Right? So with this Kokyunage, it's just the reverse. Your shoulder blade should be against your partner's body here, and then you can throw. If there's distance, it's going to be very hard to do Kokyunage. This is almost impossible. So draw them so that you can feel them against your shoulder blade. Okay? So sometimes we hear words, especially Japanese words, and we go, "Oh, I understand what they mean." I'm still exploring words that I've heard for years and years and years. So the one word I'll throw at you is taisabaki. Do you know what taisabaki is? You know? I mean, you've heard it, yes? No, yes, yeah. Okay. So taisabaki, generally when we say it, and what I thought it was at first is, I move my body, right? Body movement. It's like, okay. But that's kind of a narrow focus. I think taisabaki includes body movement, breathing. This is body movement, right? This is all part of it. So when you have Kokyunage, is this the only body movement? No. From here, you can open your chest and then throw. What happens when you open your chest? What happens is, as you turn here, so here, your partner feels stretched out. You can throw a little bit. Here. Without any visible movement, but since your body's doing it, they're trapped into what's going on. So try just opening your chest up. This one requires a little bit of commitment on your partner to strike through. Okay, so as long as your partner strikes through, you can do this. This is exactly the same technique that we have done, or you can do in Tachidori. So Tachidori technique is identical to this, and yet it seems like it's a really odd kind of entry and so on to do Kokyunage. So, my guess is he'll have it. So this comes showing up. So this goes slowly, right? We can go slowly. And what you're going to do is elbows are going to kiss here, and then enter, then turn. And flow. So the contact with the body is really important. So before we said contact with the arm and so on, but I'm going to elbows kiss, bodies are in contact, and then okay. Try that. But this important thing is that if we go this way, the energy, this is conflict, right? This is really tough. Who's going to win? Whoever's stronger is going to win. But if as the two forces come together, you go straight up, this changes the whole thing. So this movement is not strong this way, it's strong this way. So you're bringing your partner and kissing elbows going straight up. And that's what allows you to enter easily and move here. So the up movement, if you're up, where do you want to go? Back down. So therefore, you can continue that kokunage. So, so if we go slowly, as he comes in, I go up and then down. Right? So it's not so much here, but it's up, down, and then through. Sorry. So one more time. So up, in, and then through. Okay, try that out. Again, if you look at some tachidori, you have a tachidori that's exactly the same. Jodori, as Rasa Sensei said, we have that as well. So this is not, it's odd, but in the sense of taijutsu, but it's not that odd in the context of Aikido, right? That you have this all over. Okay. So just the basics for 1 minute. Okay. So palms up, fingertips up, rock your body forward, extend. Okay. Okay, so the pressure will be going down up. If I try to go up, this is very difficult. If you go forward, this is very difficult. So what you want to do is lift your fingers and then move your body. Okay. What I'm going to do is lift my fingertips straight up, rock my body back behind, move my wrist. If I move my wrist, he's going to follow and push me over. So the wrist stay extended, up and then through. So he's here, rock back, fingertips up, and then. Okay, as you bring your fingertips up, hopefully your elbows stay low, and then extend your arms, right? But don't come up there. Okay? And then captures your wrist, boom, and pins them to your legs. So this is that position. They pin your wrist to the legs, and I'll do it at several angles so you can see. So in this instance, you're going to pivot on one knee and rotate on the other knee. So you'll move 90 degrees, and then come down. It's very important not to try and move your hands from your legs, because he's helping you out. So you're going to use your whole body. Pivot, come down. So pivot 90 degrees, come down, and then start. He's pivoting, right? Turn 90 degrees. Okay? Try that out, please. Have a little bit of faith in Aikido, you know? It's a difficult thing, and it's not a belief system or anything else. The only faith that you have to have is that if I try and do the technique as cleanly as possible, it will probably work. So I always have my fingers crossed when I say that, you know? It will probably work. So have faith in extension. Don't force it. Try and listen. If you keep your hands on your body, keep your hands on your body. You know, and it's a hard thing because no, I don't need that. You do need that. You need to keep that hand on the body and extend over. So spread out a little bit, please. We'll do a simple breathing exercise. This is Chin-Kon type of exercise. This is bringing yourself back to your center, right? So your feet are pointed outward. The corners are back. This is squat, right? So the hands will go fingertips down, palms out. Come down, inhale. Hold your breath. Bring the hands down in front of you, and then breathe. Now you should shake your hands like you have something in it until your whole body shakes, like it looks like there's an earthquake in it. Oh, good. And just good. Again, inhale. Hold, and then breathe. One last time. Inhale. Hold. Alright, very good. That's any time. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Di Yamato po. So, the trick is that this, right, so as he comes to strike, right? Okay, does that make sense? So, the movement is up, around, it's the basic it's just the extension of the arm.
Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。